Hello, Sexarella. Derek.
Yes, it was easy. It's an all new demographic for me to conquer.
Brooklyn. What's up everyone, Adam from FWCI. This is the Brooklyn Nine-Nine Season 5 wrap-up video. This was an amazing season. We had some tip-top episodes in this one. We had some really fun guest characters, and in this video, I'm going to give you guys my top 3 guest characters from Season 5, my top 3 cold opens, and my top 3 episodes based on my little old opinion. And there's probably going to be some differing opinion because this season was stacked. I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say about all this down in the comments. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Brooklyn Nine-Nine Season 5 Season Wrap-Up.
It's Bonza!
Tell me why.
Gentlemen. Fine, I was trying something and it didn't work.
It's an all new demographic for me to conquer.
Let's start with my top 3 guest characters, starting at number 3, Caleb the Cannibal.
My family hasn't been to see me since my trial. You eat 9 people and all of a sudden they don't know who you are anymore.
Wait. What?
So everybody's favorite cannibal left a very lasting impression on me. Tim Meadows is an unbelievably funny actor. His deadpan delivery has become the kind of thing of legend in the world of comedy. But what's even crazier is the legend of Caleb's criminal past. I believe it was he murdered 9 people?
They were children, weak little children. One conk on the head was all it took.
Thanks for the correction. And then he ate them, and he enjoys some light woodworking as well. Let's not forget that. But with even all these horrific events in his past, he's still the most beautiful, sweethearted character maybe ever in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Like, just through his demeanor and his honesty about everything. Like, he's not ashamed, he's not lying about it. He's just like, hey man, this is who I am. I like to eat people. My name's Caleb. Everything about his demeanor just indicates that he's a lovely, lovely man, and it's the dichotomy between that and his criminal undertakings that makes Caleb such a memorable character from this series. Number 2 on the list of guest characters is Kevin Costner. I think there's been some kind of mix-up. Kevin Costner.
Better get some corticosteroids to treat that laryngeal fracture.
So we got a huge dose of Kevin during episode 12 of this series, the episode called Safe House, and he's been consistently hilarious as a supporting character, or even as a main character like in episode 12, throughout the entire series. Every time he's on screen, he adds more to the scene and makes it funnier and just compliments everybody around him. He's such a great actor and such a great character. Holt and Kevin as a couple makes so much sense, and I admire the writers for giving Holt a husband who is very much the same as him and not going in the polar opposite direction, which I feel like is kind of the obvious comedic choice to make. Holt and Kevin are just an amazing couple. But if you look at it, Kevin goes from hating the police in season 1 to season 5 where he's smashing a car through a wall, doing a throat jab, and then dropping some badass one-liner that Nick Cage himself would be proud of. Kevin also had some moments of actual drama throughout that episode as well, with his and Holt's marriage, you know, kind of maybe being in jeopardy. But his role throughout the series has definitely earned him a spot on this list. At number 1... Judy.
What's up, Peralta?
Every time Doug Judy appears in this show, I just get filled with excitement. The writers do such a good job of making his appearances kind of come out of nowhere, but as a massive fan of Craig Robinson and Doug Judy, I'm always expecting him to show up somewhere, so I'm on a constant Doug Judy high alert. Sorry, Boyle, but I think Doug Judy is Peralta's true BFF. I know people in the comments are not going to like me saying that, but Doug Judy and Peralta have so much chemistry and so much in common. I wouldn't be surprised surprised if there's some kind of reveal that they're actually brothers at some point down the track. That would just make so much sense. Episode 13 was the negotiation in this series, and we had Doug, Judy, and Peralta in full cooperation mode, and the highlight is definitely this part.
Sitting silently in a private karaoke room, not singing.
Yeah, but we're on a mission, so, you know, gotta stay focused.
Real high and I scream at the top of my lungs, what's going on?
You know how much I love Doug Judy. I don't have to say it anymore, but let's just say, Doug Judy, I love you. And if I ever become a billionaire, you can guarantee that we're going to get a Doug Judy spin-off where Peralta appears once a season and Doug Judy always escapes. Or we could just make that every single episode like imagine like an old-timey, like, MacGyver kind of show. Not like MacGyver, but like those like kind of action shows from the 90s where, you know, the villain always gets away and it's always like, oh, well, tune in again next week. I'd love to have that kind of vibe show with Doug Judy and Jake Peralta just go on forever, because I could watch those two interact all bloody day.
You my best friend too. Look, I'm not coming back. I started a new life here in San Diego.
Stupid telling me where you are.
Come on, man, I ain't no damn San Diego.
Next up is the top 3 cold opens from season 5 of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, starting with number 3.
Wait, where are my eggs?
In my belly. Yeah! Now get a move on. It's heist time.
For me, this was the highlight of this whole episode, and it was in the cold open with Captain Holt surprising Jake and Amy, who are already trying to one-up each other in terms of being prepared for the Halloween heist this year. And the way the scene plays out, it's Amy saying she got dressed first, and then Jake, and then somebody got breakfast, and then Captain Holt just appears out of nowhere, and I am instantly hyped for Halloween straight away. I wish the episode would have delivered a little bit more on the back end of that, but the cold open itself was just classic Brooklyn. My number 2 cold open for season 5 of Brooklyn Nine-Nine is from episode 20, Holt's Red Hat.
Gentlemen. Fine, I was trying something and it didn't work.
So the collectively gobsmacked reaction from the entire precinct as Holt walks in wearing his new red bowler hat was just amazing. I mean, Gina seemed to be the only one who verbalized her thoughts through her face as he walks past. Peralta's just ka-ching, takes a photo straight away. I love the bewilderment of the entire precinct, and he did kind of look like Paddington Bear, did he not? With the blue coat and the red hat. I don't really know my Paddington Bear that well, but for some reason that name comes to mind when I saw Captain Holt the way he was. And I love that he just at the end admits that he was trying something new and it obviously didn't work, and he's completely aware that this was a very big swing in terms of fashion that didn't work out for Captain Holt. And number 1 is no secret at all. It's episode 17, DFW, the Backstreet Boys cold open.
Never wanna hear you say, woo! I want it that way.
Ah, chills. Literal chills.
It was number 5. Number 5 killed my brother.
Oh my god, I forgot about that part.
I've been having people prepare me for this since season 1. Nobody spoiled what was actually going to happen, but people were just like, there's a cold open towards the end of season 5 that is going to, you know, it's a big deal. Everybody loves it, and I can see exactly why. And Brooklyn do a great job of using music in their jokes. Like, look at like Damon Wayans Jr. when he was in the car with Peralta and Boyle singing Unchain My Heart by Toni Braxton. Peralta and Doug Judy's rendition of What's Going On from this season. And this cold open as well. There's just an inherent untapped comedy potential in 90s music, I believe. They all hit so hard and they land so well because there was just this kind of goofy sincerity to a lot of 90s songs, and it just makes them out of context really, really funny. In fact, it reminds me a lot of Pete Holmes, who's a comedian, did a sketch where he was Professor Xavier firing all the X-Men because they're useless. It's absolutely hilarious. I recommend watching all of those videos. There's one part where Iceman is trying to say something to the professor and Xavier keeps just interrupting him by singing Kiss from a Rose by Seal. And there's just something about the way he interrupts with this song and keeps singing the song through. It just gets funnier and funnier and funnier. And I don't know what it is, Brooklyn seems to have that same kind of comedy flavor to their music jokes. And this cold open is easily the best of the entire series, hands down. It's not even close. This was just hilarious and I loved it. I hope you guys enjoyed my reaction to it. And I think there's my reaction to the full clip on my Patreon. Go check that out if you are on Patreon, or go check out Patreon if you're not. But with that out of the way, let's get on to the main event, because there is going to probably be some differing opinions in my top 3 episodes, and I want you guys to let me know in the comments what you think about my choices. Let me know what your top 3 episodes were for this season. But let's start with number 3, episode 6, The Venue.
Uh-huh. Gross. Mm-hmm. Oh, Hitchcock. I mean, Dave, age 28?
The cold open of this episode was pretty strong. This was the donut hole, the D hole in the mouth cold open, which was a lot of fun. You know, it was kind of silly, but it was nice to see a friend moment with Peralta and Rosa. But this is a great Amy and Jake episode. I mean, the two of them going up against the Vulture to try and get their wedding venue. I just liked that this wasn't, oh, we better do this before Amy finds out, or she's going to be upset, or, oh, we can't tell Jake about this, or like, you know, whatever it is. Like, I'm glad that they had both of them together, and going through their nuptials and all their wedding plans was really, really sweet as well. It really showed how in love these two characters are. I mean, we had the crossword puzzle flower wraps, the Nakatomi Plaza cake, the Toit Nups signs that they had, and this was definitely the best Vulture reveal of the entire series. Much similar to Doug Judy, he always just kind of pops up out of nowhere when you least expect it, and this one, they played that to perfection with the drama, with him stepping out from behind that pillar in that building, wherever the hell they were. The other parts of the episode, Boyle and Peanut Butter, their feud continuing. I don't know, it was a little bit lame the way it kicked off, but the ending with Rosa doing something really sweet for Boyle was a really nice way to end that story. And the mini storyline with Terry not being able to go through the office without being friendly and acknowledging people and saying hello to everybody was a nice little way of Holt kind of imparting some of his wisdom onto Terry to, you know, bring him down a little bit to, you know, maybe let's bring it back down to a rational level, Terry. But Terry couldn't do it, and it's fine, because Terry's absolutely amazing. Another highlight of this episode was Amy and Jake catfishing the Vulture and finding out that Hitchcock had a fake dating profile, which is, I don't think police officers should be having fake dating profiles. That seems like a pretty big red flag to me. And the episode had a lot of heart. The wedding was at stake, and there was a genuine, like, moral dilemma that Jake and Amy had to, you know, make a decision on, like telling the Vulture's wife to be what he's actually like, but that means they don't get the venue, and if they keep it a secret, they do get the venue. I like that they did the right thing. I wanted them to get the venue, but I'm glad that, you know, these two police officers, you know, morals prevailed for them, and they took the high road, funny enough, by blowing up this guy's marriage. But great Vulture episode, great Jake and Amy episode. That's why it gets number 3 on the list. Moving on to number 2, it is episode 12, The Safe House.
Do you know what it means to clap back, Raymond? Because I do.
Enough. We have to get back to the safe house immediately.
Jake and Kevin bonding over Nick Cage movies is an all-time Brooklyn storyline, in my opinion. Talk about two characters from the complete opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of where their cultural interests lie. But there was serious drama in this episode as well. Kevin's safety was at stake. Holt and Kevin's marriage was kind of getting a bit shaky because Holt was getting so, you know, overpowering. And Jake had his childhood trauma that he was dealing with, you know, witnessing this marriage maybe coming to an end. And his own upcoming marriage was probably on his mind as well. So there was actually quite a lot of heart to this episode. Scully being revealed as the shredded paper savant was a great reveal at a very crucial time in the episode. He definitely came through in the clutch. Like I say, this episode built the tension quite well. Rose's side story going like undercover as a mob wife at a salon and getting crazy blonde perm was a really good opportunity for Stephanie Beatrice to stretch her acting legs and show us a whole different side to Rosa Diaz. And I really like that she was she had to play this character and she had to do it well, and she did, but you could see how much it was killing her inside. The weird pervert montage was hilariously disturbing, and it definitely triggered a bunch of people to get me to watch the Creep. And do the creep. From Lonely Island. Loved that. I thought that was just a great, just the look for both of them. And they stayed in that attire throughout most of the rest of the episode. And of course, do you know what a clapback is, Raymond? Because I do. Is another classic line. I loved Kevin's delivery of that line. It hits so friggin' perfect. Like another one of those examples of a joke that just hits right. And let's not forget Kevin's fantastic one-liner after he throat punches Seamus in the neck.
Better get some corticosteroids to treat that laryngeal fracture.
And speaking of Seamus, this wrapped up that storyline as well, where he had a bunch of leverage over Captain Holt as well. So I really liked this episode in total, like as a full episode. Everything that happened in this just kind of clicked. And that's why it's number 2 on the list. Now, let's get to number 1, because I know there's 2 episodes that people are going to be thinking are number 1. Is it going to be episode 22, Jake and Amy? Or is it going to be episode 14, The Box?
I'm Philip Davidson. Detective Jake Peralta asked me to drop by.
The dentist who murdered someone.
Episode 14, The Box. Let me quickly explain why Jake and Amy didn't make the top 3. Because first of all, this season was ridiculously strong. There were just so many good episodes that were all the quality of a season finale. And the Jake and Amy episode had a really, really nice ending with I nearly said funeral then, with the wedding and Holt officiating. If you saw my reaction to it, I was crying my way through the ending of that. That really, really touched my heart with Holt marrying Peralta and Santiago, knowing how much Santiago looks up to him, knowing how much Peralta looks up to him. That really touched my heart, and I thought it was a fantastic end. The thing was, the rest of the episode wasn't that good. I didn't find the stories that happened there, they were kind of meaningful, don't get me wrong, but in terms of laughs and really having that joyous experience, I didn't get a great deal of that from the first, like 2/3 of the season finale. So that's why I've gone with episode 14, The Box. Philip Davidson, played by Sterling K. Brown, is an amazing character, and what an amazing performance from him in this episode. Even in my initial reaction, I was like, that guy did a great job as this character. I was even thinking, I was like, who could he play in the Marvel movies from now on? Like, he's such a good actor. Like, there's got to be, some character coming up. The X-Men, Bishop maybe. And then I looked it up, and he's already been in an MCU movie. He played Njobu, who ends up betraying the Wakandans at the beginning of the first Black Panther movie. So I feel like he could definitely take on a bigger role, because he was amazing in this. But this was a genuine mystery, like who killed Robert Tupper. We've got this really suave and smarmy sort of, witness who they're very certain he did it, but all of his alibis check out, all of his stories line up. They don't have the evidence they need. He knows they don't have the evidence they need. It was just a really good old-fashioned interrogation. And I think people have said that this is a callback to something that Andre Brewer has done in a different Hill Street Blues or something, I think. But even without that connection, this episode was just, again, perfect Brooklyn Nine-Nine. There was police work, there was relationship with Peralta and Holt. There was a great character that, they were trying to take down. The dialogue was so crisp. There were twists and turns, and it ended up being a big, three-way battle of wits between Davidson, Holt, and Peralta. And there was no secondary story in this episode, which I think really helped the viewers get, immersed in this situation and the story and the dialogue and what was happening and what were we learning and that kind of stuff. For me, my personal highlight of the episode was probably this part here.
His wife called him Rob. Work that in.
Rob Tupper.
Work it into the full name.
Robert Rob Henry Tupper.
Now say it with a frown on your face.
Robert Rob Henry Tupper.
Now try not to blink so tears come into your eyes.
Robert Rob Henry.
Just amazing acting by Sterling K. Brown, and Davidson going full evil genius and creating friction between Holt and Peralta, and just added this feeling of fearlessness and invincibility to his character. He was so certain of himself. I wonder who wrote that and what else they've kind of done, and what their writing background is, because they really made him this, you really felt the helplessness of Holt and Peralta throughout that interrogation, how everything they did just was not going anywhere, and Davidson being broken by his own ego at the end was a great way to create his inadvertent confession and wrap up the situation. Again, a great episode with Holt and Peralta. They weren't always on the same page, but they were very professional, and these are two guys who are great at their job. They're very intelligent, as is Davidson. He was, obviously highly intelligent. He had this figured out, son. But that's up there as an all-time great Brooklyn Nine-Nine episode, and that is why it gets the #1 slot on this list. Let me know in the comments how much you hate me for not putting Jake and Amy in the top 3 list, and it's absolutely fine. I know that episode is probably going to be very sentimental to people and is very much going to resonate with people, but I'm hoping that you'll all understand why the box is in the #1 spot, because it's just perfect Brooklyn Nine-Nine tone, characters, story, and it was completely unique and completely different all at the same time. So it definitely deserves that slot. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. Patreon.com/FWCI if you want early access, and we will be continuing on with Season 6, Episode 1 next week. And as always, everyone, be well, stay safe, look after your friends. See you in the next video. Peace!